In 1968, a scientist built a perfect world for mice. Not a decent world, a perfect one. He removed every single problem. Unlimited food, unlimited water. No cats, no disease, perfect temperature. Nothing to do all day except eat, relax, and have babies. 4 years later, every single mouse in there was dead. Nothing killed them. Nothing attacked them. The food never ran out. They stopped having babies, got old, and the whole society died out. In a place where nothing could hurt them. This is one of the most famous experiments ever done. And I'll be straight with you, most videos about it explain it wrong. So let's do it properly, step by step. It's genuinely wild. The scientist was John Calhoun. He worked for the US government. And his question was simple but kind of huge. What happens to a society when it has literally every problem solved? Predators eat you. Food runs out. Disease spreads. Winter kills you. Calhoun deleted all of it, every single one. So the only thing left to limit them was each other. He built a metal pen with 256 little apartments and 16 burrows. Enough room for almost 4,000 mice, comfortably. He called it Universe 25, because yes, there were 24 tries before it. Then he put in 8 mice, 4 males, 4 females. And every other mouse in this story was born inside that box. And at the start, it worked beautifully. The first mice spread out, claimed the best apartments, built nests, and they had babies. Lots of babies. The population doubled roughly every 2 months. For over a year, this was exactly what paradise should look like. Then growth started slowing down, and eventually it stopped at about 2,200 mice, which is strange because the box was built for almost 4,000. There were still empty apartments. Nobody moved in. Write that down. It becomes really important at the end. Because from here, everything unravels, and it happens in a chain. It starts with the young males, and this is the root of everything. In normal mouse life, young males fight over territory. That's healthy. That's how it's supposed to work. The winner keeps the spot, and the loser leaves. He walks off, finds an empty patch, and starts his own thing. That's the pressure valve. Losing a fight isn't the end of your life. You just go be somebody somewhere else. But Universe 25 was a sealed metal box. There was no somewhere else. There was no leaving. So the losers didn't go anywhere. They stayed. They piled up in the middle, in the open areas. Hundreds of males with no territory, no status, and nothing to do. And a mouse with no job goes strange. They sat around doing nothing, then randomly attacked whatever was near. No reason, no territory to defend, just violence with no point. Now here's how that spreads to everyone else. Normally, a male mouse defends the nest area. That's his job. Mom raises the babies. Dad keeps other mice away from them. But the males had fallen apart. They stopped doing it. They didn't defend anything anymore, not even their own nests, which left the mothers completely on their own. So now Mom has to raise the babies and fight off intruders. And she can't do both. Nobody can. So the mothers got aggressive, then stressed, then they gave up. They started abandoning their babies before they were even weaned. Just walking away and leaving them. In some parts of the box, most babies didn't survive that. But some of those abandoned babies did survive. And this is the part almost every video skips. It's the whole key. This is the key part. Think about how a mouse learns to be a mouse. It's not all instinct. A lot of it is copied from the adults around you. You watch your parents. You watch the older mice. You practice. That's how you learn to court a mate, how to defend a nest, how to raise a baby, how to fight without killing anyone. Now, These babies got abandoned early in a chaotic, broken colony. Nobody raised them. Nobody modeled anything for them. So they grew up into adults who had never learned any of it. Physically fine, fully grown mice, socially, completely empty. They didn't know how to flirt, didn't know how to fight, didn't know how to be a parent, or even how to hang out. And that generation is where the creepiest part of this comes from. Calhoun watched these mice and gave them a name. He called them the beautiful ones. They were the ones who grew up with nobody teaching them anything. And as adults, they just opted out. They found empty apartments up top and moved in alone. And they did exactly 3 things every day for their whole lives: eat, sleep, groom themselves. That's it. That was the entire routine. No mating, no fighting, no talking to a single other mouse. And because they never fought, they had no scars. Because they groomed all day, their fur was flawless. They were the best-looking mice in the entire experiment. Which is exactly why he called them beautiful. They looked perfect. Because nothing had ever happened to them. And nothing ever would. So now put it together. Your entire young generation doesn't know how to mate. That's not a small problem. That's the end of the line. Births slowed down, then nearly stopped. The last mouse was conceived around day 600. After that, not a single mouse was ever born in there again. The population just got old, and then it died out. By 1972, there were 122 mice left, all too old to breed. The colony was already finished. It just hadn't stopped moving yet. Calhoun tried to save it. He grabbed some healthy young mice and moved them to a brand new, totally empty enclosure. Tons of space, no crowding, no stress, a completely fresh start. They still never bred, not one of them. Because the problem was never the space, it was in their heads. They never learned how, and there was nobody left to teach them. Okay, now the part where I annoy half the internet. This experiment gets posted constantly as proof that crowding kills society. Too many people, too little space, civilization collapses. Here's the problem. It was never actually crowded. Remember the empty apartments, built for 4,000, peaked at 2,200? There was free real estate the entire time. They just didn't use it. So, too many mice can't be the explanation. There weren't too many. The actual problem was the one we started with. They couldn't leave. That's it. That's the whole thing. One mouse loses a fight and he's stuck living next to the winner forever. No fresh start. No new town. No second chance at being somebody. That's not overcrowding. That's a trap. Nobody has ever managed to repeat this experiment successfully. And one experiment nobody can repeat isn't a law of nature. It's a fascinating story with a lot of question marks. So, what's it actually good for? Honestly, something better. Those mice had everything we spend our whole lives chasing. And it wasn't enough. Not even close. Because a full bowl doesn't teach you anything. Everything that made them work as a society had to be passed down. And once that chain broke, no amount of food could fix it. Not that comfort dooms you, but that comfort alone teaches you nothing. Now I want to hear from you, because people fight about this one. Some people say we're already living it. Everything handed to us, nobody connecting. Other people say that's nonsense. Mice in a box aren't people in a world. So, which is it? Tell me down in the comments. I read them. If you like the stuff nobody explains properly, you're in the right place. Subscribe. We do this every week.